And several lights are still on in this neighborhood at this hour. The gunman was trapped with no way out. Anytime you have this many people concentrated in one area, there are bound to be problems. There's heavy police presence here on Bourbon Street, but many of the crimes reported are happening on side streets. And finally, some relief at the pump. Gas prices are down about 10 cents a gallon. We can tell you that this is still an active crime scene. As you said, investigators with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department, they are on the scene. The victim was in the room with the man police are looking for only for a while. Late model Camaros and Firebirds are in high demand because they're no longer produced. Roderick Gordon was walking here with two of his friends when investigators say 5 men approached. And the two sandbag locations closed at 10 o'clock just moments ago, but we will keep you posted. Owners of abandoned homes are required by city ordinance to secure them. Tonight, his amazing story of survival and how his children played a big role. Differences between the two wards heated up at the high school. Delivery had just been made to the kitchen, which left this door unlocked. The work to try and draw the confessed killer out of his home continues at this hour. You can't see it from here, but back off in the distance is a 700 block of Luling Avenue. Inside, a man who authorities say has confessed to killing his girlfriend, leaving her for dead in the backseat of her car at the St. Charles Hospital. Again, negotiators on the scene trying to work toward a peaceful resolution in this case, but as you know, in situations like this, that is not always so. We will stay here and bring you the very latest.
It hurt me to see my grandma like that because I'm like, my grandmother doesn't do anything to anyone.
Family members cannot believe what they say happened Wednesday in the 200 block of 8th Street in Gretna. The SWAT team stormed in to execute a search warrant. Their 65-year-old grandmother reportedly injured in the process. Loved ones now asking why.
They threw my grandmother on the ground and bust her lip. And my granny, when I asked her if she all right, she was just like, I'm hurt.
The alleged victim, Willie Bullock, is a cancer patient who is recovering from a recent surgical procedure. Family members say during the search for drugs, Mrs. B had a tooth knocked out and her healing wounds reopened.
He kicked her legs from under and she hit the floor. Her lip is bust, her teeth is out, her mouth is all swollen, her incisions are busted back open.
Incision?
Yeah, because she had a surgery to get a coloscopy bag.
We asked if she required any medical attention. She said that she was fine. She was just shaken from the incident.
Gretna police say they've known Mrs. B for years and took into account her health and medical condition before officers went in. WGNO obtained exclusive video recorded to ensure proper procedures were followed.
And it's proven to be a very good safety net for the police department.
Gretna police say they were not after Mrs. B, rather her 50-year-old son, Ralph Jackson, a man who has a lengthy criminal record and a man who was arrested as a result of the search warrant.
If there's any type of wrongdoing or excessive use of force by members of the Gretna Police Department, we'll investigate it.
And we're live at West Jefferson Medical Center where Mrs. B is inside being treated for her injury. She's been here for several hours. So far, no update on her condition. As for the search warrant, police telling us tonight they did recover marijuana and crack cocaine said to have belonged to Mrs. B's son. He had been staying at the home tonight. He is under arrest.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
It is a community drawn together on one accord.
I just had to come out and show my support.
A community gripped in pain, mourning the life of a 3-year-old gone too soon.
It's making us feel so much better. It'll make us feel even better if we knew who this guy was.
Asia Williams was with family and friends, both young and older, watching fireworks on the 4th of July, when seemingly in an instant, the little girl loved by many was struck and killed by a speeding motorcyclist.
And the person that did it chose not to even come forward to even see if the child was living or dead, how the family feel, how they are hurting.
It is too much to believe, far too hard to understand.
You left her. It would have been much better if you stayed and didn't leave.
And Father God, just look at all the comfort that you have sent around here tonight.
Loved ones who gathered at the scene were joined by a large contingent from the biker community.
They showing their support by being here, showing that they are on one accord with us, that they are for us, that they are with us, that they are rallying with us, that they feel the pain that we feel and the hurt that we feel. And we just thank them for doing that.
It's touched us all in many ways because this is a negative reflection on who we are.
Hundreds came out, and as a community, they're sending one message to the one man who's wanted.
We're sending a plea out to that young man saying, look, we know you're scared. We know you have a lot of things running through your mind, but please, please turn yourself in.
And again, police telling us late tonight that Sean Dejan Jr. did surrender, accompanied by his attorney. We have additional details. We understand that he is 22 years old, a St. Aug grad. He never had any kind of trouble with the law, a clean record. And according to sources close to him, after what happened here, he was simply scared and rather devastated because he too will soon be a parent expecting a newborn in just 2 weeks. We will continue to follow this story for you. Right now, we are live in New Orleans East. Darian Trotter, WGNO News. And guys, this was a shooting that has rocked this community. There were a lot of devastated people standing around. Of course, no one willing to go on camera. But what we can tell you, though, is that the shooting here happened around 7:30 in the 3800 block of Annunciation. People who live here say they heard several shots fired. They looked out of their windows and they saw crowds of people running for cover. A short while later, it was clear that there were 2 victims in this case. One man, police describe as 17 years old. He was pronounced dead at the scene, his body directly under a crime camera. It's unclear at this hour whether or not that camera was working. Another victim, one man police describe as 22 years old, rushed to the hospital where he is in stable condition tonight. Back out here live again, a lot of devastated young people, perhaps people who knew that shooting victim. Police investigators still on the scene gathering clues into exactly what happened here. So far, no information released about a possible motive or a suspect. Again, the investigation still ongoing. As soon as police release new information to us, we will bring it to you. A nature walk can be scenic and relaxing, but not when you're forced to take one to get around your own neighborhood. Just ask Tammy Williams.
It's been like this for 3 years. Enough is enough.
People living in this Algiers neighborhood say they've been dealing with high weeds far too long and all that comes with it. The rats, raccoons, and possums.
These possums, they come out and stand up in front of you like they're your pet.
Does that worry you?
Yes, because I have kids.
Tyrone Wilson met face-to-face with a family of possums when he was taking out the trash.
I tried to scare, but they came at me. And I threw the trash and I ran inside.
Unwanted furniture and mattresses are all part of this neighborhood-turned-dump site. At least part of the problem stems from blighted homes and absent property owners.
No landlord wants to claim all this germs and all this filth that we have to live around.
Overgrown weeds are not only a problem on private lots. You can tell by this power pole that much of it is happening on the city right-of-way.
Well, the city needs to do something.
Not only are there health concerns, there are safety concerns too, because high weeds here make the intersection an accident waiting to happen.
Like when you're backing out, you gotta look because of the trees. You can't really see down the street.
It's condo to condo. All 4 condos are like this.
I mean, the landlord took pictures, but the city never did nothing about it.
Something has to be done.
And late tonight, city leaders tell us they're looking into their concerns. We can tell you, though, it has been a year since Mayor Landrieu announced an aggressive blight strategy. Since then, the city has demolished 2,000 homes and collected more than $1 million in fines.
Hi, this is a Crime Stopper flyer.
This is police work in Kenner that's never been done before.
Look, it's good to see him on foot.
Homicide detectives flooding designated areas searching for clues in murders that remain unsolved.
So it's just good. It's just good. I like to see that.
Investigators are focusing their efforts on 2 cases. Why these cases?
Well, because the only 2 homicides that we haven't solved this year.
Kenner's first murder of the year led investigators into a wooded area January 4th in the 800 block of Short Street. That's where a passerby stumbled upon the body of 48-year-old hairstylist Terry Johnson. A high-profile murder that stunned family members and a murder the community still remembers.
I sure
do. I went to church. I went to his funeral because he belongs to our church. They called him naked. Yeah.
Then there's the July 16th murder of 58-year-old Alfonso Silva, a man who moved here with his roommate after Hurricane Katrina. But his efforts to help rebuild the city were cut short when he was shot to death in the 900 block of Roosevelt. His suspected killer caught by security cameras leaving a food mart.
We have to get these criminals. We don't want to get hurt by these criminals.
And we're just passing out some flyers to the victim right here, and this right here is the perpetrator.
And that's why investigators have launched this grassroots effort, going door to door, house to house, business to business.
And we want to make sure that we do everything we can.
And that's good. I like that because so many murders have been around, and you know, and you hear about it and then you don't no more.
And Kenner Police telling us that they have had 8 murders so far this year. Tonight they are asking for your help with the 2 that remain unsolved. It could be a major setback for the Obama administration's health care reform law. A federal appeals court ruled yesterday that key provisions are unconstitutional. The court says Americans can't be forced to buy health insurance, but even though the court does not agree with the provision, it does not think the whole law should be scrapped. The ruling came on the heels of a lawsuit by Florida and 25 other states over the provision. The issue is expected to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. And finally, some relief at the pump. Gas prices are down about 10 cents a gallon. The national average for a gallon of regular is $3.60 in Louisiana. The same average is $3.50. Both prices down 9 cents from last week. In New Orleans, expect to pay $3.43 for a gallon of regular. That's down 13 cents from last week. Most drivers say it's still too expensive to fill up. More and more of us are taking advantage of public transportation or biking, yet everyone we spoke to hopes this downward trend continues through the summer months and beyond.
Off front, off back, but it works out, you know.
And the drop at the pump is related to the price of crude oil, which has already dropped. Analysts say if crude oil continues to trade below $90 a barrel, gas prices should continue to fall. Hundreds gathered in Shreveport today to honor a fallen state hero. Family, friends, and people across the country gathered to pay their respects for Chief Petty Officer Robert Reeves. He was among 22 Navy SEALs and 8 U.S. troops killed when the Taliban shot down their helicopter last Saturday morning. Those at today's service say the sacrifice Reeves made for his country won't go unnoticed.
This young man,
Reeves' childhood friend, 32-year-old Lieutenant Commander Jonas Kelsall, was also killed in that chopper crash. And police need your help in the search for a Baton Rouge man who went missing here in New Orleans. 60-year-old Irvin Walker Jr. was last seen Monday at his sister's house in the 4700 block of North Claiborne Avenue. His family says he is diabetic and needs his medication. They weren't able to send a picture, but Walker is black, 5'8", about 175 pounds, clean-shaven with salt and pepper hair. If you've seen him or have any information, call 821-2222. And BP is under the microscope yet again, this time at a refinery in Texas City, Texas. The oil giant says units are back to normal after a vapor release Friday afternoon. It happened after a relief valve lifted. Emergency responders and the EPA say people near the area should not face any health risks, but they continue to monitor air levels. Several workers were evacuated, but no one was hurt. An explosion at the refinery in 2005 killed 15 people and more than 170 others. The facility has also been cited for not meeting environmental regulations.
None in the Gulf at this point.
And a wet, muggy Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it looks. But we may be able to get a little payback early next week if we can get that front end here with some drier air.
All right, we'll have to take it.
Yep.
All right, Got Milk pulled its controversial ads pushing men to buy milk to cure PMS.